Howdy, I'm here with Eli in the second video in our series on the decks we took to regionals. Eli, what are you playing?
I'm playing Dragon Link.
All right.
Bystial Dragon Link.
Okay, let's see the deck.
We'll start with the Bystial engine. We'll get into these in a second. But we have one Libellion, actually two, Bargain from Sam. One True Swarm, actually two. I just had that one, but at this regionals, at this locals, I was only running one.
We'll get a screenshot of the actual deck and put it in the description down below.
One Sarnier, actually two, Bargain from Sam. And three Magamut, which I actually own and brought.
This was a deck built by committee.
Yeah, I won by the power of friendship and friendship alone. Libellion is just really good. It can't send itself under Shifter because it sends to graveyard, not discard. But I mean, even like without that, it's still just worth running. Search any Bystial, and then you get the combo where you go for Branded Beast. Ideally, you want both of these on field. It usually comes down to what you have to go for. This deck, if you have three Libellion, it's less of a problem. But Sarnier kind of serves as an extender because when he gets sent to graveyard, you can send the Libellion to graveyard, and if you have what you need in hand, and instead of sending Abstratter, you can send Safer, and then Safer Banish to grab the Libellion. And people don't realize that they can Bystial the Libellion before you add it to hand, so it works out. Obviously, Magnamut is Magnamut, and Druisworm is Druisworm. I do run a Tomb in the extra, and unfortunately, a Tomb can't send Druisworm and then Druisworm effect. It needs to be sent from field. But a Tomb can send Sarnier and get the Sarnier effect. Ideally, you want to get the Sarnier summon. But if you have to, you can Ravine send Sarnier. Having Sarnier in hand is kind of like being able to search Libellion. If you Ravine send Sarnier, send Pisty, send Sarnier, send Safer, and then Safer banish the Libellion that you send to graveyard. But ideally, instead of searching the Libellion, you want to send the Regain to graveyard, and then get the Libellion out, because you somehow search it some other way from Chaos Space. Get the Branded Beast in field, end phase, get the Regain back. Next, we have, I think it's the Rocket Engine. We have 3 Quick Launch, 2 Tracer, 1 Recharger, 1 Synchron, 1 Abstratter. Overall, I mean, the idea with this deck, in theory, is that you want to end on Sphere's Savage. It's less combo-y. You don't really want to make Borland turn 1 anymore. You kind of just waste too much material and cards in hand to go for it. You'd much rather have 2 Bystials in hand than 1 Bystial in hand and a Borland on the field. At least for regionals. Right. So this is what you're sending off Ravine to search Tracer, and as long as you have a Tracer in hand, you can just get out Tracer with a boot or a quick launch or a normal summon and get out Savage, and then you get out the Savage, which kind of protects your seals. So then you get to resolve seals, and then if they try to stop it, you get Savage Negate, and then you get to resolve the seals effect to summon the dragon. The Synchron is questionable. I'm still not sure how people run it, but I guess the normal effect is good. Alternatively, you could just run a different level 4 non-tuner. It could kind of go either way. It's weird. I guess it's you normal summon it, and then you get the Absa router, and then you can go for a Synchro 8. I don't know. And then we have the generic dragon extenders. This was 2 black metal. Somehow I only have 1 black metal, so I borrowed one from Peter. This is a strange one. I sort of just found that the probability of hand traps to starters and extenders, I wanted 2 black metal because this is a starter. You normal summon it, go striker, search, and then striker search, black search, get red MD, then red MD banish striker, summon back black metal, go into Romulus, etc. But having 2 is just better for having a starter and not breaking. Noctivision is just a good extender. You draw when it links, so it replaces itself. It's just a free summon if you can get it, but it can also break you. It could go either way. I've seen people cut this down to 1. If you somehow draw crazy, you can Safer effect, send Abstratter, get Noctivision, so it makes sense to only have 1. And then the Levianeer, I found that this wasn't too useful at regionals, but it's Levianeer, so it's not like I'm gonna cut it. I guess it's just like, I mean, Magamu can search it. You can search it off Chaos Space. And then I guess it's useful for like the comeback, but I just found there were usually other cards that I wanted more. Like instead I could add like a Lubellion and like get my combo back if somehow they stopped the Lubellion from searching it's just a trap. But I mean the Levianeer was useful. I found myself setting it out against tier because it's not like I want to destroy them anyways. And then the Chaos Engine. We have the 3 Chaos Space. This card is very good. You can like, obviously you get the Baby Dragons, and then this is like a -1 card Romulus or something. Or like, if you know that you have what you need to get to Sphere Savage, you can also add Lubellion off this. Or if you have Seyfert in hand, then you don't need to add Lubellion because you can Ravine send Lubellion and Seyfert add Lubellion. It's just a very flexible card. There's like 300 different cards you can search for that in this deck. And then obviously Seyfert is like the primary normal summon of the deck. Normal Seyfert, and then send whatever you want from field or hand to get whatever you want from deck is just very good. Usually you're using it to get the Baby Dragons if you didn't get Chaos Space, or if you Chaos Space for Lubellion, you can use it to get the Baby Dragons, and then you also still have Lubellion in hand. The benefit of this is that like Chaos Space will add Lubellion, and then you have a Chaos Space in graveyard, and you want to get the Chaos Space effect to draw one. So then if you draw and then like at some point you're getting these to banish one and then you can Chaos Space, or you can like Bystial your Striker Dragon to get the Chaos Space draw.
Gotcha.
I'm main decking Drago.
Tell him why.
I don't know if it was a mistake or not, honestly. I'm still kind of on the fence about it. I didn't main deck it here, but I mean, I had one friend, Sam, who I would practice against for tier. And that was my only tier experience. And the games I played against him, this won me the games, so I kept running it. It's just so good in the main deck. It's like no one they don't expect it, so like they'll let the spheres resolve, and then you'll summon Drago from deck. Even if so that's why it's good going turn 1. Going turn 2, you can if you draw it, you can just normal summon it. And there was a game I had where I bricked, but I drew Drago, and you could say that it's the Drago's fault I bricked, and you're probably right, I don't know. But I normal Drago, and I set a called by, and I passed, and then he set one and passed, and then I passed, and then he passed.
It's Baguska at home.
Yeah, it's not good. It's good in the side. I've seen people side this. I've seen people side the Amorphages. I'm still not sure. But going turn 2, if you have combo, you can even Histy summon it, or I don't know. There's 1,000 different ways you can get this out. The issue is that it's also a floodgate for yourself. So you can out it by tribute summoning a Bystial over it, or you can out it by normaling Seyfert and then Seyfert sending it to search a dragon. There's a couple ways you can out it. You can out it by linking into Romulus because it's a wind. But it's tricky. I don't really know what to do with this thing. But main decking it, I figured I wanted to do at least one stupid thing with this deck, and that was the stupid thing.
The fun of.
Yeah, a fun of. 3 imperms. I borrowed the imperms from Peter.
Shout out to Peter.
Yeah. And then 2 Ghost Spell. I'm still not sure. I mean, these could be crows. I honestly couldn't tell you why I put them in the deck over crow. I don't remember. 2 crow is about the same as Ghost Spell, but it's these stop Mudora Kelbeck, and the other one, Keldo. So it's that's where these things come into play. They're pretty valuable for that. They stop the Bystials, but usually you don't want to do that because it feels bad to lose a card and then they keep the card in hand. I guess it's just beneficial because Mudora and Keldo could destroy you because they could put your Chaos Space back in deck, put your Lubellion back in deck, do this crazy stuff to ruin all the graveyard you set up. But I found that at regionals, no one knew that they could get rid of my Chaos Space and stop me from drawing a card. There was like 2 times where the player just didn't realize that they could stop me from drawing a card off Chaos Space, so they just left it in my graveyard. So maybe I should have predicted that people wouldn't have read Chaos Space and left in Crow. I don't know.
That's the benefit of running a rogue deck. No one's gonna read your cards.
Yeah. And then, Called By.
Called By.
This is questionable. I don't think I regret having it. It's just like going turn 1. It's obviously useful because like you can stop the tiers. Kind of just like a better Crow. But going turn 2, it's obviously a dead card in hand. But then I figured like going turn 2 during my turn, they're still gonna mill. So it's like I can stop the tiers from resolving during my turn with Called By. So it's pretty much just another Crow. I don't know. I was told by a better player that it's not a good card, so I'm gonna assume it's not a good card, and then I'm just running it because I think because it works for me.
It's good against rogue.
Yeah, that too is kind of the main reason I left it in. Is like if I see anyone running like normal hand trap stuff, it's useful. And obviously it's just like Ravine Boot.
You search them off your link monsters.
It's good. Extra deck. Pisty, Striker, Romulus, Spheres. Let me just mill through all the standard things. I found like Pisty is your lethal play. It's like if you're going turn 2 or turn 3 and you see lethal, you go into Borland with this thing. With like standard, Borland combo. Obviously you're going this every game. This thing. It's unfortunate because usually you're using Romulus to go for Spheres, so you're wasting link material, but it's not the end of the world for this deck because like you don't really need it if you're just trying to end on Spheres Savage. Sometimes you can end on like Spheres Savage Barone or Spheres Savage Borland if you draw really good, but like usually you want to keep the cards in hand, so it's not worth going for Borland.
Right.
Dark is standard at this point. Everyone's taking Magnamoots, everyone's resolving Magnamoots.
Did you ever steal a Magnemite?
Yeah, once, but it didn't, or twice, but it didn't matter because I had a Magnamoots in hand.
Gotcha.
So it's still useful. It's like free link material, free dragon on board. It's like not even just link material; it's a dragon. It's just good. These guys get you to Borland. You go like Pisty, Quad Boral, and then Pisty Summon. Then these 2 for Delingerous. And then Quad Boral, discard 1, pop Delingerous, summon 2 rockets from graveyard. Delingerous effect in graveyard, resummon because you summoned rockets. Sometimes that doesn't work, but with this effect it does work. Like if you, I don't know, it's weird. The rule, I haven't looked into it, but the rulings on this card I think are kind of weird.
Gotcha.
But then you have Borland, and then Borland summon Savage. And I just found like multiple times that summoning Borland against like tier is so good because you destroy them by battle and then they don't trigger and you get rid of all the guys. It's just so nice that you have a card like Borland that can attack over. It can even like Planet gets them to 35, so then Borland can just crash, but Borland doesn't get destroyed. This thing is for Link Arrows. It's nice for Savage because Savage will go to 42 and get 3 counters, so that hardly comes up. It's nice for Lethal. I'm mostly running it because like if you brick pretty bad, then you're forced to end on like Borland Savage. I don't know if I ever went into it now that I think about it, but it's like instead of doing this stuff to get to Borland, you just like go these 2 and then summon Pisty and then reverse over it and then you get the Pisty effect. But that's only if you like can't make spheres. So usually like if you're not making spheres, you're not beating. You're not like winning. I don't know. But anyone on Borland Savage can stop like a decent amount of plays. And then obviously Borland. I've been talking about it the whole time.
This much for Borland. We're not running him.
Yeah, we're not running Borland. I don't know, man. It's just really good. Beats over the whole field. I don't think anyone ever summoned a card that Borland couldn't beat over the whole time. It's just really good. Then running 1A Tomb. Summon any dragon from deck is pretty good in Dragon Link, unsurprisingly. I've been waiting for a good time to run this card for a while, and now that I have the Bystials, I can. The main issue is that, like, you would rather go Wallow usually, but I don't know. It's just like, usually A-Tomb would get me more than Wallow. It's like, A-Tomb summon any dragon, and then usually that can get me to Lubellion and give me a Bystial in hand, and that's pretty much Wallow. But then also I get to summon a dragon from hand. I'm sure there were reasons to have Wallow. Like, there are probably times when I could have A-Tombed and Wallow, or like, if I already had Lubellion going, then I don't need A-Tomb to get Lubellion, but then usually I'm using Ignite Rockets, which is Savage, so is A-Tomb better than Savage? Maybe, probably for tier, I don't know. Or, sorry, is Wallow better than Savage? I don't know, maybe, I don't, whatever. Then, this is Dragoonity stuff, I left it in there by accident. I wasn't running these. I'm trying to remember what I did run. Oh, right, IP Unicorn. Unicorn came up one time to spin a Zombie World, I think.
Interesting.
Yeah. Unicorn spins Zombie World. A lot of them were running Zombie World, and Zombie World will stop you from getting Striker Dragon on the field, so it's useful to get rid of Zombie World. I think that's all I IP'd. I've been considering running like IP and Underworld Goddess, but I don't know. These are for Dragoonity. Don't
look at them.
Don't look at them. Scarlet. This guy wins you in time. He's also a flu out if you can summon him, because you summon him in defense and then pop their. How much attack is M-Pen?
M-Pen's at 27.
Yeah, it beats M-Pen.
That's all you need.
Yeah, because it has less than 3,000. It wins you in time. I went to time one game, and it was like, it was against Tier. He used Instant Fusion, so he lost 1,000. And then he milled Scatter Shot, I lost 500. He milled Scatter Shot, I lost 500. He milled Scatter Shot, I lost 500. So I was losing. Then it went to my turn, and then I had lethal. I could have gone Borland Savage, and he had some guys in attack, so I could have had lethal for that. But there was only like 10 seconds left, so I knew I wouldn't have time to do combo and go to battle. So instead, I just summoned Scarlight and then won because it dealt 2,000 burn damage.
Time rules are dumb.
Yeah. Regardless, even without time rules, it's like popping the whole field is still pretty good if you have to. I even found myself, so I'm citing Gammas, spoilers. So like, if I get Gammas on the field, I synchro these for Scarlight because it's generic, and then I have an extra guy on field. I have an extra dragon on field to like go into Romulus or go into whatever link material I need. And it's like sometimes you need that because if you draw pretty bad, you need a dragon to go to Romulus if you just have like a normal swing. So it turned out, I don't think I ever used it for that at regionals, but it turned out to be pretty useful. And then Savage, the goal of the deck is to end on Savage Spheres, if you're going turn one, so Savage is useful for that. And then Baron. I don't own this, borrowed by Peter. This card won me like 3 games. It's generic, so I used it like twice to out Zombie World. No one expects it, so like if I have a Druistorm on field, and then I go Quick Launch, and they're like, yeah, that's fine. Summon Tracer, and then from there it's like, they're not... I have Baron, and then I make Baron with like Tracer, Druistorm, send one guy to graveyard. Baron, pop another guy to graveyard, I have an Omni Negate, I keep comboing. It's really good. Mm-hmm. I asked Peter to borrow it for today at locals because it's like I can't not play with Baron. I've felt the power of Baron. I can't not use it anymore. Then go through the side deck quick. Most of it's pretty standard. A lot of Dragon Link players are siding the end nowadays. Useful for Flu, useful for Sprite, not so much for Tier, which is why it's on the side. Useful for Rogue, just a good card. Pank for Sprite and General going second. I don't think I ever cited this in because I never saw Sprite, which is strange, but whatever. 3 Droll, good for Flu, good for Rogue. Never saw Flu, which is weird.
No one saw Flu at this regional.
I saw Flu players playing Flu players.
They put them all together, so we wouldn't have to deal with them.
They team killed. I cited this in against a Draco Slayer player. I cited this in against... No, Draco Slayer player, that's it.
Okay.
It's a useful card if you see Flu. This deck does not like D-Shifter, so if you can stop Flu from doing their things with Gamma and Droll, that's nice. 3 Dark Ruler, good for Sprite, good for Flu, good for Rogue. Didn't see that, so didn't side it in much. I found myself, like, if I'm going turn 2 against Sprite, I would side in 1 Dark Ruler, side out 1 Levineer. But I don't think I ever drew the Dark Ruler, but it's like, I don't think I'm using the Levineer turn 2 anyways. It could go either way, I don't know. 1 Duster. This card lost me a game.
Wait, tell the story, tell the story.
I don't know if I want to. It's funny against Labyrinth. Labyrinth, trap deck, set trap cards. My brain goes, I should side in Feather Duster. It's good against Labyrinth. I side in Feather Duster. I top deck it off of a Chaos Space draw mid-turn. I'm thinking, Feather Duster, yes! Feather Duster! I wipe his back row, yes! He chains Silver Castle. If you don't know the effect of Silver Castle, it allows the Labyrinth player to set a normal trap from deck. My man sets Waking the Dragon from deck. So chain 1 or chain 2, set Waking the Dragon. Chain 1, Duster resolves. I have Woken the Dragon, and he summons Last Warrior, and I lose.
There, not only is there a man running Last Warrior from another dimension or whatever, but he summoned it and then he won.
And it won him the game. So this is the only card on my side that lost me a game. I think the only time I sided it in was against that guy. So all it did was lose me a game. And then 3 Eradicators.
Okay.
Arguably, these are worse than Anti-Spell. Anti-Spell is just better. But it did come up where game 2 against the Labyrinth player, I was going first. I sided these in. I flipped it, and he said, "Yeah, let's go game 3." So it's like it's all trapped. It's a trap deck. Which I didn't like the dragon.
He was telling me the story on the ride home, and I was losing my mind in the front seat.
God. Yeah, that's all of it. Shout outs to Peter for letting me borrow half my deck.
Yeah, who'd you borrow cards from?
Got Barone, 3 Drolls, they didn't come in yet. Barone, 3 Drolls, 3 Imperm, 1 Black Metal from Peter, 1 Lebellion, 1 Saronir from Sam. Shout outs. Thank you. Great. I love that. Love those cards.
All right. Thank you, Eli.
Yep.